Hello, love. So, let's stop the war against men's wholeness. Let's stop that war. And how do we begin this journey to understand where it begins? Circumcision. A woman commented on my thread when I've been talking about the child abuse of torturing a little baby the moment they're born, instead of giving a man the right to choose whatever he wants with his own sacred divinity of his sexuality. And this woman wrote in something so well said. She said, you know, when you circumcise a nation of men as infants, you train them from day one in being numb so that they will go rape and kill. You teach them that this is what life's about. If it can be done to them, it can be done to others. And so if you really see it that way and you go, wait a second, because without circumcision, there's no brutality in your masculinity or your sexuality. You have way more sensation, for one, much more delicate pleasure, much more vulnerability, and much more ability to sense into the pleasure of woman because of your own delicate pleasure. And then the whole thing is not such a bombardment and so much work to try to get, yourself aroused and all of that. It's much more subtle experience. So if this world wants you to be warriors and wants you to be off on wars, random wars, instead of just having good conversations with other nations that are about everybody's needs, including everybody's needs, and sharing resources as a world humanity, if they want you to go treat each other like enemies and kill each other, they've got to first numb you out. And that's the thing, because the foreskin is full of 20,000 million receptors of your pleasure that are taken from you when your foreskin is cut. So please don't go get this operation just because some woman's pressuring you or you want to look like other guys. No, they should want to look like you. Stay intact, stay sensual, stay full of and realize, why are all these men so violent towards gay men? Because the gay men represent wholeness, being much more in touch with their inner feminine and the ability to have both masculine and feminine wholeness within themselves and pleasure, receptivity in their pleasure. So men who don't feel they have that right, who feel like it's been taken from them on a deep, deep level, are in a rage at gay men for having their pleasure intact in some way, at least in their hearts and their spirits, having more wholeness, more unification between their masculine feminine sides. So the war against you, the war we women perpetuate against you, is this forcing you to be in one dimension without enough of your own vulnerability and your own sensuality and your own right to your own body. So that's not to say that polarity isn't great and masculine, feminine extremes of differences don't exist. They do. They really do. That's why I do this show a lot, is to try to just make that okay, right? But as a woman, I've got to integrate my masculine to be effective, to have a linear projection of my life where I get something accomplished to benefit my people. I've got to have my masculine logic intact enough that when I get completely circular and mystical, I can do something like that with that, like weave a web instead of just fall through the abyss. So on the anatomical molecular level, you have polarities spinning around each other in total balance. You deserve your full wholeness to be recognized as your right. And the first thing we can all do is to join the movement to protect babies, boys, from being tortured at birth, and protect men from having their sensual, erotic pleasure stolen from them, and protect you men from being forced towards killing and raping by setting you up in that pattern in your brain as you are born, because it shows that when a boy is circumcised, when he's first born, when they put electrodes or whatever they do to brain scan the baby before circumcision and afterwards shows irreversible traumatic brain changes that stay from then on from circumcision. And you think, it just took a moment. He just screamed and then went to sleep, didn't he? And no, come on. This is every single thing that happens at birth is a story that gets laid down. Every moment is more alive, more intense, and the sensations of babies are 100 times more intense. That means heat is more hot, cold is more cold, taste is more intense, everything. So no, it wasn't that it didn't feel. It was that the baby knocked out their consciousness from such a barbaric act. They had to leave their body. And that disassociation creates the same disassociation men show with women in their sexuality, where they don't stay present emotionally. But if women do this to their babies, they deserve zombie lovers. We women, we can't get all hating ourselves for what we've done. We've got to simply walk forward with change. I was ignorant. I didn't know what I was doing. I was going with society. I was going with religion. I was pressured by my family. Sure. But even if those are happening to you right now, you can be the one in the middle of it all to say, I'm taking care of my baby, and all of you can go to because I'm the mama, not you guys. I'm the mama. Yeah. Okay. Love you. Okay, love. So solar really does save us, and I'm here to help you get your solar panels whenever you're ready. Let's just be ready now, okay? Because we've got 12 years to make this huge transition into sustainable living and a whole evolution of energy that is coming cleanly right from the sun. And it's a miracle, all of the technologies in place, all of the systems and processes and programs are in place for you to get solar now without any money out of your pocket, and it will just bring down your bill. That's what it's going to do. It's going to bring down your costs. It'll give you rate protection too. You won't have, you won't have to be on the escalator that the electric companies have had us on. 10 years ago, we were at 10 cents a kilowatt, and I'm going around to people's houses and finding they're at anywhere from 21 to 26 cents a kilowatt. It's only 10 years later. So that's a really steep escalator going up. So when you do solar, the escalator for inflation is just very gradual. So it gives you rate protection. Or you can do the ownership programs, which also you don't need anything out of pocket to do ownership and to keep all of the tax incentives. So let me help you. I'm with True North. We're a group of consultants, and we basically just we hold your hand through it, and we make sure that everything happens so that you get your solar. We're paid by the companies who eventually install for you, and you don't have to pay for us or anything along the way, because it's also subsidized by the state and the government and the electric companies. It's called the hybrid electric program, so everybody's working together on it. Also, it's paid for by all the taxpayers. I don't know if you ever noticed on your electric bill where it says all these solar program charges that you've been paying for 10 years. So you've been paying for other people to go solar, and you didn't get anything out of it until you take it into your own hands and let us just guide you through it. It's only like 2 appointments, and then it's like 3 to 6 weeks later and your panels are up. The IMA Institute, you should see these women. They got this gigantic array to take care of all of those musical their big soundboard and everything. It's now all solar and they didn't have to pay for it. And you also get money back. Some people are going to get money back depending on your situation. So, there's the other thing. When we're scared about climate change, we can go, oh, but solar's happening very fast. And one family going solar saves 144 acres of trees. Saves, let's see what else. I think it's 166 tons of emissions from fossil fuels. And driving a car 350,000 miles. One house going solar over 20 years saves all of that. So you can imagine how many people are going solar and how fast this is going. I mean, when I first saw Al Gore's movie, The Inconvenient Truth, I was so upset. I was so overwhelmed. It was like 10 years ago, and I got paralyzed. I didn't do anything until it started to break my heart. And I just kept thinking, solar, solar. I wish I was involved with that. I started to give solar parties and push all my friends at parties to get interested. And everybody got pissed off at me. They're like, don't invite her to a party. My daughter's like, oh no, mama. But here it is now, the solar party's happening. It's a happening party. And then I realized I could just work in solar. It's a better idea than harassing people at parties. So nowadays, if you just give yourself a chance to look into it, okay? Lots of ways to go. And yes, some of the people who first got on into it got really amazing deals, and you might not get as good a deal as they did. But really what to think about is, this is about our children. This is about the children of our children. If we're so busy about getting the best deal for me, and I'm going to wait until I get 10 years later when maybe you can get it cheaper, you haven't been part of the revolution, because the revolution is all the people who started first and who just did it regardless of how much it cost. Because the first people who set this whole thing in motion before all the tax incentives went there were the hippie people who spent all their money and time to just make it happen, right? And the fact is, it's not actually necessarily getting cheaper. Actually, it's been getting, it's about just what it is, okay? It's just what it is. But Massachusetts is so awesome because you don't have to pay anything at all. You do need a 650 credit score, and you do need to own your house. You need to have a roof that gets some sunlight, some good light, and that's in pretty good shape. I mean, it can be 10 years old or such, but your roof needs to qualify. It's all about the sun. So some places are really too shady. Slate won't work. But we can also do ground mounts. You can still get a ground mount with nothing out of pocket. You can have it put up in your backyard facing south, and you get 100%. Okay, I'm going on and on. This is an infomercial. I'm doing an infomercial because we're gonna save the planet this way. Okay, we're gonna change the story really, really fast. Oh, so back to the Al Gore thing. Al Gore put out the second movie, The Inconvenient Truth sequel, right? And I saw this, and this time, oh my God, I felt so much better, because worldwide in the last 10 years, all these other countries have made gigantic progress with solar. And there's even a country or two, I think they're completely solar, completely green anyway, with wind in there too. So we're just the slow pokes, and it's part of it's our negativity, because this country, 70% of the people believe that the world is going to end, right, in their lifetime, that they're at catastrophic times. In other countries, people don't have that belief, and because they don't have such a negative belief, they actually take action. Whereas here, people just let things fester, because they have this negative idea that their religion says, and this is, well, let's just not create that, and let's stop making these end of the world movies. There's so many of them, and the trouble is, they're not really waking people up as much as putting people in a trance that this is just the way it's going to be, where we're just going to live in rubble, pretty soon, eating garbage out of, I dreamt it the other night that my whole neighborhood was just trash and rubble. And we were living in barrios with, playing music from loud apparatuses in order to make ourselves anesthetized. I'm afraid too. I am. But, if all these European countries can be so much more enlightened than us, let's just let them wake us up. and watch the movie Where to Invade Next by Michael Moore, which is actually not a war movie. It's a joke title. It's him invading other countries to take their fantastic ideas and bring them home to the US, where we're just idiotically backwards. He shows how jail reform has completely been healed. Drug use has been healed. People's incomes levels, their amounts of pay. All these countries all over the world have really made a beautiful scene for their people. To look at Italy, oh my gosh, look at France with their food for the children in the schools. In Italy, all the pay for everybody's work and the hours off and the 13th extra month that they get paid for and the, all the vacation days in Italy. I think if you drink wine, you will never become an alcoholic, because the intention behind everything there, it's about humanity. It's about the feminine. So if we want to take the feminine joy of your life and give it energy, you're going to say, I'm going solar. I'm going solar because I'm going to save this woman. I'm going to save this woman planet. I'm going to save these women and children and men's. Okay, my goodness. This is a day of talking for me. I love you. Go solar. Just contact me here. You can write to me at solarsavesus.com. Oh, I'm sorry. solarsavesus@gmail.com. You can message me right here, and I want to take you there. Okay? I'll take you there. All right.